Fairyloot has got themselves in a bit of a bind, and whew, it's messy. Let's get into it. Hello, and welcome back. And for those of you who are new, welcome. My name is Shelly, and here we just talk about everything related to books, which includes the bookish mess in the book community. And this one is a doozy. First and foremost, thank you so much, Dulce Perez, for bringing this to my attention, because I had not heard about this at all. So yeah, I definitely would have not even addressed this if it had not been for your comment. So thank you. And for those of you who are new, do be sure to subscribe, because better believe if there is mess going on, I'm going to figure it out one way or another, and there's going to be some commentary. And of course, if you just want some good recommendations and a review or two, you also get that. So do be sure to click subscribe and also tap on that bell. But all of intros aside, let's get into the mess, which is the Fairyloot drama surrounding their Throne of Glass special edition, which they announced but haven't released yet. First and foremost, yeah, it's a mess. It's a mess. That's how we're going to address it. It's a mess. Now, for those of you who do not know, Fairyloot is a subscription box company that focuses on fantasy books. So if you have a liking, for special edition boxes and special edition goodies and special edition books, then you might have come across Fairyloot. They are, I believe, one of the top book subscription box companies in the world, if not the top. They, alongside Illumicrate and Owlcrate, they are one of the most popular book subscription boxes in the world, focusing on fantasy books. So one thing that Fairyloot does is that monthly you subscribe and then you get your box, but they also every now and then release special editions of just a popular book or a recent book or even an old book that has a really big fan base. And this in particular is honestly one I had thought they had done before, simply because the fan base is huge, the book is popular. I honestly would have thought that they would have done a special edition of it before, and if they have, who knows. But basically, they announced that they would be, releasing a special edition box set of the Throne of Glass series by SJM, Sarah J. Maas, for those of you who don't know. That aside, the choice of their books aside, that did not go well for them at all. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and say that I have not read the Throne of Glass series. The only series I've read is Alcotar, but I never got to reading Throne of Glass. It is an 8-book series, and that's really all I can tell you about it. I really know nothing about the characters, the plot, nothing. But that really doesn't matter. I don't really need to know the plot to explain this to you. Essentially, they released that announcement and they show the design of the entire box set. Now, if you've gotten a special edition box set, usually what happens with box sets is that they have a cohesive design that, it flows through all the books. So if you have the entire set, it gives one big design. If you only have 1 or 2 books, then you don't get the full design. And it's beautiful. I don't have like a full box set that is a special edition. I've always wanted one, but I haven't had the chance to, go ahead and get one. And to be honest, this will not be the box set that I get. Essentially, they released it, they showed the design, and all hell broke loose. And one of the main points of the chaos is the fact that the design on Fairyloot's, box set is eerily similar to the design done by Acrylipics, who also released a box set for Throne of Glass, the full 8-book box set. Now I'm going to put the picture up here, just comparing the two so that you guys can see. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm seeing some similarities. Now, the first thing that came to mind when I first heard about this was, and before I actually saw, the actual designs, the first thing I thought was, okay, was it merely coincidental, or is there a genuine concern of plagiarism and, the whole lack of originality? And then I saw this picture and I said, I really want to defend you. I really want to, defend you, because come on, people always kind of make a big deal out of a lot of things, and sometimes people make a big deal out of nothing. This, however, ooh, yeah, I can't defend you here, sweetie. I can't, because bruh, it's almost the same thing. And I think what a lot of fans called out is not only is it similar, but it even seems as if it's kind of toned down. Um, and you know what? That really could have just been the artist's interpretation. What works for one will not work for another. Because I do actually like the design on the Fairyloot. I like the colors. I also love acrylipics' colors. I think they're beautiful. You know, I just think the designs are two different designs. But all artists are different. All artists have different styles. So one thing I do respect Fairyloot for doing, and at this point it's probably the only thing I respect them for doing, is actually calling out the bullying for their artists. Because when this came out, obviously people had a lot of complaints, and that's just, you know, the similarity is just one, but then they went on to kind of harass the artist who, you know, created this design. Once again, lack of originality aside, and you know, the ethical implications for that aside, no, you can state you can state the problem with this design, you know, in the concerns for the plagiarism, but actually harassing the artist is a big no-no. You guys know how I feel when it comes to bullying. I'm not for it. I totally believe in accountability, yes, and I 100% believe that, considering what we're seeing, and it definitely looks like plagiarism here, that the artist would probably need to be held accountable. Can't, you know, so it's allegedly plagiarism. Let me cover myself here. But right now, I am not telling anyone to go and harass this person. This person, you know, this person is an artist, which means their craft is important to them. Their craft is something which they have honed really, really well, and their craft is something which, you know, they feel strongly about. Once again, the alleged plagiarism, we need to hold people accountable for that. But bullying and harassment, I do not stand by at all. So I definitely do not agree with those who went and started attacking the artist and just, you know, just going after and bullying. I definitely do not condone that at all. I think that's terrible. And so I respect Fairyloot for calling out the harassment and saying, while you have issues, do not take it out on our artists. That's absolutely terrible, and they're right. That is the line for where, you know, my respect for Fairyloot is drawn. At that point, I can't do anything for you. I'm sorry. That's the most correct thing you've done. Outside of that, you've been wrong from the get. Because you have, this situation is basically what I expected versus what I got. And goodness me, it's not looking cute. And one thing, once again, I told you guys I have not read the books, but apparently the horse or the pony, donkey, unicorn, I don't know. It could be a mythological creature, so I'm really not too sure. Apparently it's based on some character or creature in the book, and it's meant to be white. And so people are suspecting that the color was changed simply because they didn't want it to be obvious that they plagiarized from acrylipics. Once again, this is rumor. And you know what? Fair. And because I haven't read the books, I cannot say, you know, my opinions on that, because who knows? She might have just put a random horse. But right now, it's not looking cute. It's not looking good at all. So while I do not condone any harassment or bullying of the artist, whoever you are, come on. Let's be real. Let's be real. And it's okay to take inspiration from different artists. I know artists will look at other artists and say, oh, I can be inspired by this. But this just looks like a copy and paste in a different font. Like, please. Miss me with that, okay? Miss me with that. We're not doing that over here. Now, the artist and their alleged plagiarism aside, let's go back to Fairyloot. See, when something like this happens, what we want is for the company or the person in question to acknowledge, address, and make a change. So, Fairyloot, I'm not too sure what they did. They released a statement that said, we have seen your concerns about our, you know, Throne of Glass announcement. We will get back to you. That was a couple of days ago. Not even a couple. That was a few days ago, guys. And as of this moment where I'm recording this video, I'm recording this on a Wednesday. Yeah, there has been no response. There has been no response. It's been complete silence on the end of Fairyloot. The only thing that they have said after they made that initial statement was the defense of their artist. And I've already said I respect that, but no, that they didn't acknowledge anything. They actually didn't acknowledge anything. The address was subpar. What did you say? You said you will address the concerns. See, it wasn't just the design that made people concerned, okay? So what actually are you addressing? Because you could be addressing one thing and not the other. So what are you addressing? Because it's not simply the design that people are upset about. People are also upset about the price. Now this is where I said these people are messy. So like I said, the Throne of Glass series, to my knowledge, is 8 books, and they presented 8 books in the set. It's going to be 8 books, and obviously, cool, the full books. And then they announced that the first 4 books will be $200. Not the entire set, the first 4 books.
First of all, no. Second of all, no.
I'm in the UK right now, and so that basically comes to around £160 for the first 4. Not the complete set, the first 4.
First of all, no.
Are you okay? Are you guys absolutely okay? You are off your rocker if you think that people are paying $200, 160 Great British pounds for a design they don't even like because it looks like it was plagiarized and not even the full set. And here is where I started to call into question their ethics. And it really, the respect that I had for them defending their artists, I lost it, okay? When I really started to think on the absurdity of the price point and what you get for the price point. Okay, so if you are in any bookish space, you've probably heard of SJM. Whether you've read any of her books, that's on you. Some people don't like fantasy, some people don't like SJM. So that aside, we know that she is a popular author. See, that is even selling it short. She is not a popular author. She is the popular author. She has sold so much, and it's absolutely ridiculous. She has several series out, so let's be real. She's making bank. Now, given SJM's popularity, and given, how big her fan base is, Fairyloot, you were sketchy as heck for doing what you did. Simply because if you've looked at previous box sets that they've released or previous multiple editions that they've released, and now looking at this and taking into account SJM's popularity and her huge fan base, all it seemed like to me is that Fairyloot was taking advantage of SJM's popularity and trying to exploit their customers. That's all it looked like to me. And at that point, I have no respect for you. In this economy, and even beyond this economy, a lot of Fairyloot's customers, a lot of their, people who are buying their books and who have a subscription are young. Let's be real. Their target customer is in their 20s, in 30s. You don't have much older customers who are getting so many subscription boxes. Not so that they don't, but mainly it's the people in their 20s and their 30s. The people in their 20s are just coming up. The people in their 20s are getting tackled by every single thing you can imagine. And in this cost of living crisis, to even still have people purchasing is a blessing, a blessing that Fairyloot should appreciate. But instead, they said, actually, since you guys have shown support and shown that you will continue to give us your money, how about you give us even more of your money? We're going to, just take it all. And at that point, I couldn't respect it because it just seemed like such an exploitative thing to do. So you know what, Fairyloot? Bun that and bun you, because that was bad, poor behavior. It was absolutely terrible because they knew what they were doing. They absolutely know the reason why they chose SJM, the reason why they chose a book series that had so many books, the reason why they targeted their books to their customers, because they knew they would make bank. There's a reason why they even increased the price. Once again, they knew they would make bank. And I'm just like, you are a business. No one's calling you a not-for-profit charity. No one is calling you that. We know that you're a business, and obviously a business's goal is to make a profit. But at this point, this is exploitation, and I can't stand by it. That is bad behavior. And you should be called out. You deserve every single bit of slander that you get. And this even goes, this even connects to like how they've been responding. People have been obviously talking about the allegedly plagiarized design, and they've been talking about the price points. And you know what Fairyloot has been doing? Fairyloot has been deleting comments, and once again they've been staying silent. So your response once again remains poor. The lack of transparency is poor. It is absolutely terrible that they decided that as one of the biggest, if not the biggest, book subscription box companies in the world, they would start to move mad like this. Goodness, guys, I heard about this obviously through the comment left, and I said, okay, it probably won't be as messy. This is book subscription boxes. How bad can it be? And then I'm seeing exploitation. I'm seeing blatant exploitation. And for anyone who wants to come and say, oh, that's not exploitation, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. They recognized who their fans were. They recognized that their fans were willing to spend money on their products. They recognized that there were so many SJM fans, and they said, we're going to make bank. We're going to make bank, even if it's by charging you an obscene price for a book using a very, very sketchy design. Guys, please. We're only in the month of March in 2024, and how many videos have I had explaining drama and chaos and mess in the bookish community? We cannot be doing this. Every 2 minutes, there cannot be drama. And Fairyloot, as a company that's been in operation for years, I expected more from you. I 100% expected better from you. And for people, for a company that was started and is run by, supposed book lovers, you know what? I'm so disappointed, because book lovers in the community, you were one of us. And I'm saying were because at this point we're just going to disown you. So you were one of us. You were part of the people in the bookish community screaming over books, and screaming over guys and books and girls and books, and screaming over debts and books. Like you were part of the community, and you decided, we want to start a subscription box, and it blew and it grew. And now you've decided that you're going to be just like every other company who doesn't care about their customers, but more so just cares about profit. It don't sit right with me. I don't respect it. I don't support it. And I could care less about when they come back with their lackluster reply and response. Because let's be real. What are they going to do? Okay. What are they going to do? They said that they're going to go and think about it, and then come back and address it. So what are you going to do? You have your artist design these books, and this design is allegedly plagiarized. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Are you going to change the design last minute? Are you going to change your artist? I mean, since you were in defense of your artist, are you going to change them? What's going to happen? Are you just going to cancel the entire box set? That's not a problem, because obviously they would need to know the amount of orders before setting out the orders to actually be produced. So, they could cancel it now before they actually start making the products. They can. But I'm sure that some people have already started buying. So, have you produced those already without addressing the actual issues? Like, what are you going to do, Fairyloot? Like, tell it to me. I want to hear it. With I have really tiny ears. I don't know if people have noticed, but I have really, really tiny ears. But believe me, they hear well, And I want to hear Fairyloot's apology. I want to hear their response. And you know what? Will they make an apology? Let's actually see. Will they make an apology for trying to make a fool out of the book lovers? I want to see, because they're just becoming a classic, company who just, makes an empty PR statement and then just goes on about their business doing the same mess. And I haven't actually seen a Fairyloot scandal before. I haven't actually seen scandals with the book boxes. I haven't been too much into book boxes. I've only been really into them, in the last couple of years. And I did subscribe to Fairyloot and Illumicrate at one point. I even started my own book subscription box, but I changed the actual way my book subscription box runs. Story for another day. But I was subscribed to Fairyloot and Illumicrate, and I enjoyed the boxes that I did get. And so I never saw a scandal from them. It was always just good books and good vibes. And now here we are. Like, is it just that they saw the scandals that's happening in the community and they said, we want to get a piece of that, we want to get into it, you know, we want the clickbait? Is that what they were doing? So much going on, so much mess. And at the end of all of this, all that's going to happen is that Fairyloot, your reputation is now downward spiral. Now, there will always be people who say, oh, it's not a big deal, I'm still going to support. There will always be people who do that. There will always be people who sacrifice ethics for a pretty book. So let's not act as if this will completely drown Fairyloot. Yes, there will definitely be people who kind of just continue supporting them to the point that they can keep going without actually, you know, having a dent in their sales. That's true. And I'm not telling you guys to go and, you know, not purchase Fairyloot. I'm not. What I am saying is that we need to hold them accountable. So we want an apology, you know? We want real acknowledgement and transparency. We want you to address it as if you are speaking to actual adults, not idiots that you were trying to do. And we want to see action that reflects your sorrow. We want to see action that really reflects how bad you feel for trying to pull one on us, okay? Now, if we don't see all of that, then yeah, then you can cancel your Fairyloot subscription. Then I'm actively telling you to cancel your Fairyloot subscription. Because, please, why would we support someone who thinks that we're stupid? Why would we support someone who wants to exploit us and openly tries it? Like, who do you think we are? Please, try again, but don't try us. Okay? Okay. Those are my thoughts right now, as of today, because like I said, I haven't seen any updates from Fairyloot about what they're going to do for the whole situation. So as of today, those are my thoughts. But stay tuned, because once that update goes up, I'll be back. Because I want to see what you're going to do, Fairyloot. I want to see. But that is all I have to say for today. So that is it. We're going to just wrap it up. Obviously, guys, be sure to like, comment, and share. Oh, and also, when you are commenting, let me know what you think of the lighting. I was trying a bit something new, you know. I'm actually enjoying this. I kind of love how it looks, you know, a bit of a shadow. So let me know what you think. Are you liking the new lighting? Do you want it changed a bit? Like, what do you think? Give me all your thoughts. And before we go, be sure that you have that bell on when you subscribe. You're going to have to know when these videos come out. And how are you going to know that if your bell is not tapped on, okay? So subscribe and then tap that bell. But until next time, guys, I'll see you soon. Bye.